Good afternoon and welcome to the People's Verdict. I'm your usual host, Patrick Soko, and today we are joined by Mr. Anderson BANDA, the United Party for National Development, UPND, LUSAKA Province Chairperson, and we are discussing the topic themed, is the UPND government working for or against the people, is what we are looking at. This follows a number of pronouncements that have come out that have tainted the UPND black, especially amongst its critics. And in studio, Mr. BANDA is going to help me delve into this topic of discussion. Welcome to the program, Mr. BANDA.
Thank you very much, and good evening or good afternoon, viewers. Interesting.
Just to get started with our conversation, this is the first time we are hosting you, Mr. BANDA. Just illustrate for us your position and what you do, especially as the LUSAKA Province Chairperson, and your responsibility mostly to the party.
Thank you very much. I'm sure my name is in public domain. I'm BANDA Anderson, the LUSAKA Province Youth Chairman for the ruling party, UPND. And I haven't understood your question. What I do privately or politically?
Politically, I would rather we stick to
politically. I'm the provincial youth chairman, so we do politics. We speak to the people, we supplement government efforts, and we communicate, and we also provide leadership to the youths out there, not only UPND youths, but all the youths under LUSAKA Province and Zambia at large. So we are public servants. That's what we do.
Interesting. Let's start with the aspect of youth. And when we talk about young people, are you championing the agenda for empowerment for young people, especially that most of them are complaining that there are no opportunities and there is no jobs, and you were voted in government on account of also making sure that you make opportunities available and create more jobs for young people as the UPND?
Thank you very much. It's not true that there's no opportunities in terms of jobs and a business. So far, so good. So far, so good. New Dawn government is scoring. And I'm sure you as a journalist, you're able to see and get views from the ground. You're able to see what is happening on Facebook, radio stations, TV, and whatever way of getting information. You're able to get the feedback from the people. In fact, I'll be doing myself a disservice if I don't congratulate the hardworking president, His Excellency Mr. Hakainde Hichilema, for the job well done in terms of teacher recruitment, because many critics thought it was a rhetoric stuff and it will not be a reality. And now, after that has become a reality, 30,000 plus youths have gotten jobs in the teaching service. Now they are coming up with some rhetoric of saying, no, they will not be put on payroll. I think it's a high time we trusted the leadership of His Excellency, Mr. Hakainde Hichilema and his team, because they don't believe in a cheap talk. They believe in reality and in hard work. And of course, from the time that we UPND formed government, we've been very consistent where job creation, empowerment is concerned. The first thing that we embarked on was sensitizing our members to come up with cooperatives, to come up with individual companies, group companies, and also to encourage people to start going to school and learn, do some skill training. Those who want to continue to go finish the schools, all of them, they were given chances to do that, and the bursaries and the support as sponsorship was immediately found. So these are the things that any normal reader would start with. One is to empower citizens with necessary requirements, such as skills, knowledge, and education. From there, cooperatives and companies. Those are the first thing that a normal businessman or a person who wants to be somewhere in life, be it in terms of employment, be it in terms of business, should look at. So these things have been put on the table and the programs are being rolled out. Cooperatives, I'm sure you are a journalist, you are able to see across the country, across LUSAKA districts, that some empowerment have already started being rolled out with our youths. Grants and cooperatives with business proposals, they've started getting the support that they're supposed to get from the CDF. CDF has been released, and the people have forwarded their companies, cooperatives to relevant organs that looks into issues of CDF and empowerment and employment. So generally, as a youth chairman, I'm a proud youth chairman under the New Dawn government, because our leaders are not letting us down. Our leaders are walking the talk. Our leaders are able to do things as promised. In opposition, we are promising the people of Zambia key promises such as job creation, and jobs are being made available to the youths.
How certain are you that more majority of young people benefit from this empowerment, or they are politically motivated?
The proof is there that majority are benefiting. One is the increment of CDF from 1.6 to 25.7 million per constituents across the country. That is a proof enough that many people will benefit because there is increment in terms of allocation. Proof number one. Proof number two, there is no discrimination. Even in terms of employment, UPND government has not started with a small minimum number of 2,000 teachers, 3,000 teachers. UPND government has started with a very big number of 30,000 plus. For example, in terms of teaching employment, in terms of medical jobs, rather jobs in the Ministry of Health, 11,000 plus. These are big numbers, meaning that there is more jobs coming in other institutions. So a lot of youths will get absorbed in terms of direct and indirect employment, because even in the private sector is flourishing. The environment to do business, the environment to expand businesses, now it's conducive. If you are a carpenter, you didn't have proper tools, you didn't have where to get money to expand your businesses, deliberately the New Dawn government created a ministry specifically to empower medium and small businesses, meaning that there will be job creation in that area of the private sector.
But others have also argued that the same ministry has no traction at the moment. It's just talking about formation of cooperatives, Mr. Banda.
No, unless they don't pay attention to what the ministers say. Even me, I can help them explain what is available in that Ministry of Medium and Small Enterprise. That's why we are featuring this platform, so that we can also give some information. We supplement what the ministers are already doing, what the government is already doing in terms of sensitizing people, opening up to people that this is what is available in these ministries. In that Ministry of Medium and Small Enterprise, it's basically meant to empower Zambians with skills and entrepreneurial ideas. In terms of small companies, medium companies, you want to acquire loan through CEC, it's in that small, medium and small enterprise ministry where everything can be gotten through. You want to get a loan. You want to get what? To expand your business. That ministry is there for everyone. So track is there. So those are just political rhetoric, but generally people who are fair, people who are serious in pursuing what they want to pursue in terms of business, they can attest to you that there's hope there in that ministry. People can get funds there to expand their businesses, to start new businesses. People can get funds there and support.
Interesting. That brings me to my next question, Mr. Banda.
Yes.
You talk about youth employment and empowerment, and at a time when your administration has taken out off the street mobile service of booth operators on the pretext that they would want the city to be clean, and also this was in anticipation of the hosting of the African Union summit. However, we also privy to the fact that the minister said this will be an ongoing thing despite the AU meeting. But however, what do you make of those now have been condemned to the street who were operating booths in the central business district, Mr. Banda?
I'm sure that exercise was not an abrupt operation. People were engaged, people were explained to, and some of them, there's an announcement from the minister that they'll get compensated for their loss of trading space, and they'll be given another conducive trading space or operational space. What it is in life, my brother, that even at home, there must be orderliness. You wouldn't just do things anyhow. You find that that cannot be a home to be called home. Even at a national level, there must be orderliness in terms of conducting things. You wouldn't litter both everywhere, including at the entrance of people's shops. I think that is totally not okay, because also that has got a negative effect where business is concerned, where job creation is concerned, and where security is concerned, and where decency and cleanliness is concerned. So basically, to my knowledge, that exercise was conducted in consultation with the same booth owners, with the Lusaka City Council, the ministry, and other stakeholders. The consultation was there, and fairly the minister is on record announcing that those who are affected, they'll get compensated. So to me, that's the only brilliant way of handling this matter. And if you go around town, it was only designated places where those booths were removed. But if you go around town, you still find thousands of booths available, and people are working. So basically, when there is control of situation, I think that means that that is targeted to disadvantaged people. No. UPND government is a caring government. UPND government is people's government and pro-poor government, because it understands the livelihood of all class of people, lower, medium, and higher class of people. All that knowledge is there in the offices of the minister and the Lusaka City Council, and generally the government at hand.
On a political perspective on the same subject, Mr. Banda, the Opposition Patriotic Front, through its party president, who is acting, Mr. Given Lubinda, after that undertaking of cleaning up the seat in terms of removing the booths for mobile money services, we saw him coming out strongly and charging that they are going to take legal action against the Lusaka City Council, as well as the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development. Just your take on that stance that has been taken by the opposition.
That is, Rubinda was playing cheap politics.
Why do you say so?
Rubinda was playing cheap politics. Even those who are condemning that exercise are playing cheap politics, because I've alluded to the fact that that exercise was conducted in consultation with booth owners and many other stakeholders who mean well. For your own information, the one who was spearheading that exercise, that was being led by the Lusaka City Mayor, who is a PF mayor. And that woman belongs to PF, where Rubinda belongs. So to me, that is highest level of hypocrisy coming from Rubinda himself, because that Chilando belongs to PF, and she's a Lusaka City Council mayor for Lusaka. So, and she was spearheading that exercise of making sure that there's orderliness in town, there's a plan in town on how things are supposed to be done, how booths are supposed to be put. So for Rubinda to come out and say, no, that was a wrong move, I think that is hypocrisy. And this pettiness in politics is what makes us to be where we were under previous regime, because people enjoyed politicking all the time, and PF kept on politicking, and they were behaving like they were the people in opposition from 2011 up to 2021, somewhere there. They were behaving as though they are the people in opposition, and they want to continue with the same way of doing things. They must differentiate time to politic and time to be serious and deliver to the expectation of Zambian people. I think up to date, I've not seen any reasonable person complaining about the sanity that has been brought in town, the cleanliness and orderliness that has been brought in town, because of the same exercise that our minister and the local government leaders did. People are happy, people are celebrating, and the sun is fresh air there. So to me, as a provincial youth chairman, I have not received any critical, serious complaint genuinely, and the minister has provided all solutions to all concerns. He has put it clear that people will be compensated. Those who are legally affected, they'll be compensated, reallocated, and be given guidance on how to conduct business. That is brilliant.
Interesting.
Yes.
In case you are just joining us, you are watching The People's Verdict with me, Patrick Soko, and in conversation In the studio, I have Mr. Anderson Banda, the UPND Lusaka Province Youth Chairman, and we are discussing the topic themed is the UPND government working for or against the people. This follows some of the pronouncements or policies that have been pronounced by the government, which others have argued to say the government is not in support of Zambian-led initiatives such as the issue of mobile service operators, and we have dealt with that issue with Mr. Banda. In case you want to join the conversation, you can do so. You can also follow our Facebook page and also share your comments and views. We get the conversation going. Just now, Mr. Banda, I would also want to get your perspective. I remember it was you who ignited the fire among other UPND officials pertaining to the issue involving the Director of Public Prosecution, DPP, where you said you were going to camp at their office to ensure that she's compelled to resign her position. And but we had not heard from you from there, Mr. Banda. Are you so far happy with the way matters have been handled? We understand that some of the issues have been handled diplomatically, and the Judicial Complaints Commission.
Thank you very much. An opinion is an opinion. When we took that stance, we were doing that within the confine of the law. And we were mandated to comment on that issue of DPP because, one, we are stakeholders. Two, we are citizens. And we aired our views. We pointed the lacunas and the signs that we noticed that here things are not showing us well, are not indicating that this lady, this woman, this office is representing us well, and we aired our views, and a number of stakeholders also aired their views, and some official complaints were taken to Judicial Complaint Commission. And so for us, we believe and we respect the due process of the law to be concluded. And of course, we are aware and we saw the announcement that that process has commenced. So it would be unfair and lack of patience to us to start even uttering things when the process of looking into the issues has commenced legally. So that view we had still stand and is still fresh. But we are respecting the process of the law because legally complaints were lodged through the JCC, and we are waiting to see the outcome on how that matter, how those complaints and concerns will be handled. Thereafter, we will analyze if we'll be satisfied or not. As we speak our mind openly, we'll say yes, this is the right outcome, or this is the wrong outcome. We'll also give our opinion. But generally, what we want to see is justice to prevail, and also issues of corruption are fought at a speed which is required, other than the pace where things are draining because of some issues. Somewhere there, at a level, decisions are made in terms of prosecution. So to me, I believe and trust that we did our part, and we're still doing our part as stakeholders regarding the office of the DPP. For now, we wait to hear the outcome that will come from the JCC, because I'm aware, and that process has commenced. Yes, to me that is my comment that I can make on the issue.
Turning to other matters, Mr. Banda, President Hakainde Hichilema has strongly condemned cadarism and issues pertaining to impunity. But however, earlier this week we were treated to the issue where we saw UPND cadres storm Kafue district education offices, DEBs, to chase 3 officers. But isn't that going against the presidential directive? And as a leader for young people, do you endorse such behavior? And what are your thoughts regarding that issue?
Thank you very much. As the provincial youth chairman, I wouldn't support that behavior because that was pure criminality. And the police, they know what the party stands for in terms of people committing crime in the name of the party or masquerading to be party members, and they start engaging themselves into criminality. Police is aware of what to take, what to do, what to follow. So to me, that behavior has no blessings from the party hierarchy, even from me as the provincial youth chairman, because those are under my supervision. That is Kafue district. So those who got involved in that behavior, they have no blessings from the party. And it's up to the police to analyze and see if at all they committed a crime or not. They will decide what to do. And to us, we will not shield any person who masquerades as a UPND youth, a UPND cadre, and start engaging into illegality. I think our message is loud and clear. And that goes even to the issue of curfew fracas. Those who are involved, the police are there to judge for themselves, whether to take action or whatever way they want to handle it like. But that behavior has no blessings from any UPND supporter, from any UPND youth leader. Those people were acting on their own behalf, and I condemn that behavior, because that is not how we resolve matters. That is not how we air our views and grievances and complaints. We are civilized party in power. We believe in civilized way of handling politics, handling issues, and also airing our grievances. There's always a procedure in our party. So if people want to do things in their own thinking, whenever they are caught with the law, I'm sure they have no one to blame. And this message has been communicated to all our members across the province and across the country. So that behavior can be judged by the police, whether there was a crime or not. Let the police do their way. Simple. Because me as a provincial chairman, I'm saying those youths were acting on their own and they did not get any permission. And they did that without the blessing of the youth leaders and the party at large. That is what I can comment. And moving forward, the advice is we have a well laid down way of communication in the party. In terms of grievances, any form of communication, there's a procedure. That is what I can say on that aspect of curfew issue and many other issues. So basically, the idea, the policy direction of no cadreism, no harassment of civil servants using the name of the party was made clear to us when we were campaigning, when we were in opposition as youths. So when we form government, this is how UPND looks at politics. This is how UPND wants to do its politics when we are in government, when we are in charge of the affairs of the country. But and all the youths are aware.
Mr. Banda, yes. You know that markets and bus stations used to be a means of survival for youth wing, especially for the ruling party in the past. But how are you surviving as the UPND without that? Or are you doing it indirectly? Can you educate us on that?
Thank you very much. Markets, bus stations, they are meant for bus drivers, passengers, marketeers, and the people who wants to buy merchandise. Simple. How would you describe a situation where myself, as a cadre, I go in the market, I start maringering around without doing anything? Don't you think I'm going to commit a crime there by stealing or harassing people who are merely doing business? So, yes, those areas are meant to benefit the youths. Those who are doing business, those who are drivers, those who have something to do in those areas. Without excluding notable UPND members, they are allowed to be found in those public places if at all they have something to do, if at all they have stands, if at all they've gone there to buy things. It's not a problem. A problem comes in when somebody goes in that market and start wanting to start getting things by force. Muntu alima cabbage huko, abore kuja, atileka kushitishiwe. Nishinga mtengo we at no, ni 5 kwacha. You see your cabbage, wakamba ni 5 kwacha, muntu agusa cabbage yako 10 kwacha. Or maybe 15 kwacha. You the producer, you get less money, that person gets more money on your sweat. That is unfair. And would you tolerate that? Would you say that is an empowerment to the youths to survive? That is supporting criminality. That is supporting lawlessness. And that's why today people are able to make profit in these markets. There's sanity, and the people are now proudly encouraged to be found in these markets because they know that their lives are safe, their properties are safe, and their rights are being respected. So basically, New Dawn government thinks better for the youths, not endangering the future of the youths by encouraging criminality. Even education standard went down under previous regime because people never respected education. They thought it was just wasting time to go and spend 7 years at UNZA studying, to go and spend 2 years at a tertiary college or institution. All what they knew was to buy a big boot and start training, going to the gym. You become muscular with a very big boot. To them, they thought that was the easiest way of equipping themselves, thereafter start getting monies using force and power. That was criminality, and no well-meaning leader would support that behavior to continue. Even you, if you became a president one day in your lifetime, you wouldn't want to see that situation to happen under your leadership. So, President HH is a civilized leader, is a leader with the heart for the people. He knew and he saw the challenges that marketeers were going through under that regime which was there. And we said, Rane, this must stop. And Zambian people listened to the message, and they voted on that basis that when UPND comes, we are going to have that freedom. We are going to have that respect, the dignity that a human being should have. And that dignity and respect is finally in this country. Everyone is free. People are free to put on the regalia of their political parties of their choice. They are able to move from point A to point B without any harassment. That is the Zambia people wanted to have, to see. And it's now a reality. So, the simple message is very clear. Our members, typical UPND members, they will never involve themselves into vices of cadreism, because we understood the vision of our government even the time we were in opposition. Now we are in power. I think there's no way people will say, no, we want to change. No, we are civilized people. The people are bringing confusion. These elements of cadreism that we are seeing around is coming from the masqueraders. The people were there and they want to continue the status quo because they don't know how to work for money. They don't know how to put ideas on the table and pursue the money within the confine of the law, through cooperatives, through companies, or even working for somebody. It's also one way of making money. There are a lot of opportunities. We have a lot of land around. We have a lot of entrepreneurs. We have carpenters, mechanicals, panel beaters, barbermen, saloons, and people now have prepared their papers. They're getting empowerment to expand their businesses. And the mindset, one thing that I'm appreciating with the new government is change of mindset. Zambian people, their mindset has changed. We are now looking at life in a different version, unlike the way we used to look at life. Now people, they are able to appreciate the importance of going to school, the importance of going to a college and have a skill, train in a certain skill, and start doing your own thing, employ your fellow youth. That scenario was totally being eroded because of the negative way of looking at life. Because Kudala under PF, it was the survival of the fittest. If you are weak, if you have no connection, it means you suffer the consequence. So, even people, youths, they start looking at education like sheer waste of time. Instead, it's just to join. You could hear mwana mwono 3, 4, 5 years akamba nikakula nifuna onkara kada ini. They thought to be a kada is one way of getting quick money, is one way of being rich, one way of whatever you want to get, you get it easily. And people's mind were being eroded. They were endangered in terms of the law. So to us UPND, we've come to realize that the only better way, one, is to encourage people to acquire skills, to encourage people to build on their skills. Also, talent identification. Very important. Very important. We have Sunzu. Our former president, Varungu, is renting a house from Suzu. What has made Suzu to build that house? It's through his talent. But was there a deliberate program to identify talents, starting from rural areas up to urban areas, or in these shanty compounds, in these compounds? There is massive talents in these compounds. And this is also one of the things that New Dawn government has embarked on, talent identification. People can earn a living out of their talents. And we have thousands of youths with proper talents. All what they need to be, all what is needed is to empower them, identify them, support them. Then skills. We have youths out there who are metal fabricators. You go along Katima Muyo there, Kwakalingalinga coach. You see a lot of youths making door frames, window frames, and many other
How can they
stuff.
just be empowered?
But now, those are the things that New Dawn government is working on. We are saying, you people with these skills, you're going to have a better working place, a big, spacious place. They always want to have that, but how are they going to get support? They have nowhere to get support. They have nowhere to go to and get support and buy proper equipment so that the production can increase. And these are the things that New Dawn government has embarked on, is to identify people with skills and talents. And they get empowerment through the ministry which has been created deliberately, medium and small ministry. So that people who are metal fabricators, people who are good in terms of carpentry, can go there with their companies, they get support, they expand their businesses. We have youths who are mechanicals. They are able to fix cars. Some of them, they are able to wash cars. But do they have capacity to buy those machines? Do they have capacity to buy those equipment for them to do their work better, to compete at that level? Under previous regime, even the competition levels was very unfair to our people locally here. You would find the things that Zambian youths are doing are being done by Chinese. In all the streets, we saw a situation where that we had the Chinese garages in all the streets with well-mechanized equipment. And what happened to our youths who are doing mechanics at that level? They all got disadvantaged, they lost businesses. Most of the people used to rush to Chinese garages. For example, spray booth. Chinese government empowered their nationals who are in Zambia by deliberately giving them those equipments. And our youths ended up becoming laborers. Bamene waseweza ni mayouth mu Zambia. Bamene watenga ndalama ni foreigners. And they even open Bank of China. Meaning that bakapanga ndalama baseweza abantu batu mayouth batu, them all what they know is to bank that money through their bank. I'm just giving an example of Chinese, but this was
the bank still exists in Zambia.
Yes.
What are we going to do about it?
I'm not condemning that idea because I'm not a technical.
But it's capital flight.
Yeah, that is capital flight. Because whatever monies that is made in that arrangement is being taken to their respective countries because they know in their mind that one day they will leave Zambia. Yes. And now what New Dawn government has realized is to identify people with those skills and support them, establish their businesses properly by empowering them with loans and grants so that they are able to buy equipment. Magula maspana, magula ma spray booth yabuino, ma carpenters magula mipeni, whatever they are supposed to use, so that they are able to do work and produce more, and they expand their businesses and employ their fellow youth, and also impart those skills to their fellow youths. That is how you grow the economy. That is how you create jobs. That is how you empower your citizens, if you have responsible leaders in the government, the way it is now. So, I think, unless otherwise, what is happening now, almost all the youths, almost all the citizens are able to see that we have right leaders in these offices who mean well, who thinks for the citizens of this country. Because most of the aspirations of the people are on the table and they are well explained. And there's no political victimization. There's no political segregation the way it was.
Yes. Going back to our topic of discussion, whether you are working against or working for the people of Zambia, others have also argued, Mr. Banda, how are you finding it easy to persuade people over the escalating cost of living? For example, now people are paying more for transport. on account of increasing fuel prices, and prices of various commodities have equally increased. And what is your justification? How are you persuading people who are saying, you as UPND leaders, you were coming to these communities to tell us to say things will be better? How are you persuading these people, Mr. Banda? How are you finding it easy?
You know, my brother, what is important in life is to tell the truth and be realistic. You don't need to embark in cosmetic measures. You sugarcoat the problem or the challenge. It means you are not going to solve it. Face the situation the way it is. Be real. If the cost of fuel is at 24 kwacha, let us face it so that we know the effect of that price and work on it. So it's being realistic instead of pretending, because that pretense will land you into serious trouble. Because one day you not pretend, reality will come and you look like you are cheating. So what is happening now is the reality of our economy. The economy that we found under PF. Now, when you are building a house, you don't just start sleeping in a house. For you to finish that house, you lay a foundation. And the foundation can tell the type of a house which will be constructed and how strong it will be and how many years it will stand. And how good and best it will be. It's dependent on a foundation. So what is happening under New Dawn government is, one, is to look at the causes of harsh economy. What brings about harsh economy? What vices contributes to failure to fix the economy or the challenge that the country is going through? One, volatility, lawlessness. There is no investor who can come in a country where there is lawlessness, where there is war. Instead, you have no visitors, you have no money coming in the country. Root cause. New Dawn government said this is the major challenge that this country is going through. Let's sort it out. It's sorted out. Now the investor confidence is back. Two, corruption. Corruption also is a cancer that destroys the nation. Muntu Mozi, because he is privileged to be the minister, that person start getting money, abusing that authority and start piling money, eka, at the expense of 18 million Zambian people. Muntu Mozi, ago anandeke, adibe na airport, eka muntu. Living beyond means. Because that person has a privilege to public resources. Corruption. Bad leadership. You saw people sleeping on money. You saw people dancing on money. Sana sevenzepo, na kuskuru sana endeko, owamufu sandamu watenga kuti, he has no track record. Lawlessness. So we said, this must first be stamped out. Let's play this game and create a foundation which will build a firm Zambia. A Zambia which will attract investors. Then thereafter, the results of that will start manifesting. And you have seen the results manifesting already. There is now proper direction. You can see the direction where the country is going now. You can define the direction because we have molded the country. Our leaders have come to bring sanity in our country. There is respect for human rights. There is civility in our country. There is respect for law. There is genuineness in our country. Leaders are able to speak the truth. Leaders in offices are able to listen to the Zambian people, what they want. And these are the things that we were lacking. And they are being worked on. So, to me, what I can say is that, yes, we can be going through this situation, maybe the high cost of living of some sort, but it's not the worst. Because now, there's a stability in terms of prices of commodities. Because under PF, prices were changing in every day. Today, you buy something at this price, in the afternoon another price, the following the other price. Prices kept on escalating, and they had no capacity even to bring the prices to that stability. That even affected the exchange rate of dollar to kwacha. You see how the kwacha is gaining power now. It's not an accident. There are measures that the New Dawn government has put in place. So, for example, I'll give you an example. You get sick, you are grounded you have malaria for 3 or 4 weeks or so, you get treated, you wouldn't be as fit as you are looking. Though you are recovering, but you not look like the way you are looking. You still have challenges. So even at a national level, yes, the economy is bad, but we are on a recovery process. We are recovering from the mess that was created by our friends who were in government. So generally, I want to urge the people of Zambia that let's exercise a little bit of patience and let's respect and trust the process. Otherwise, our leaders means well. They care for us and they are fixing a lot of things. I'm sure results now are showing. Mostly all our major pronouncements when we are campaigning, 80% they've been fulfilled. Major pronouncements. Things that our colleagues... Yes.
Why do you say 80%?
Ask me any promise that we made the people of Zambia that we failed to fulfill.
You said
any major pronouncement.
Education will be at tertiary level.
What?
Up to tertiary level free education. You said we were going to provide meal allowances to students. They're still crying.
I've said 80%. Our major promises. I have not said 100%. I've said, amazingly, just less than a year in power, 80% of our key pronouncement has been tackled. Major promises. Things that PF failed to do in their lieu of 10 years or so. Cadreism. They failed to stop it. Job creation. I remember Mr. Lungu and Madam Inonge Wina promising the youth of Zambia at Murungushi, at Youth Whatever program that was there. They made fake promises.
The creation of 600,000.
Yes. Up to 2021, there was no explanation on what happened to those jobs they promised the youth of Zambia. But have you now
provided the jobs?
Yes.
How many jobs at the moment?
For example, we are talking about the promise. I have no data about the job that has been created in the private sector, but I know there are in thousands because of the environment that the new government has created. But in the it's not an assumption.
Someone can
my brother, me have spent most of my life in the private sector. I've never worked for a company. I have no track record that Mr. Banda worked. I'm my own boss. I work for myself. And I belong to the private sector. What I'm talking about here is out of the experience which I have. And I saw employers cutting manpower to 50%. These manufacturers that we have around industrial areas, even bakeries, maids, we saw these bosses cutting manpower because the economy was bad. Ask me today. Those people who are saying, when you start making profit, you call you. They are back at work, and of course, even other more have been employed. To my own experience, that is private sector. That is private sector. That is my own experience from the private sector. What I'm saying, there's job creation also in that arrangement. And new government, we have realized that civil service only caters probably maybe less than 15% of the employment. Most of the jobs are created in the private sector. And that is where the economic growth is. That is where youth empowerment is. That is where development is. In the civil service, there was an announcement or promise, so to say, that there will be recruitment of 30,000 teachers. It has happened. Is that not employment? In fact, making it up of 400 plus. No, in the health sector, there will be jobs that will be made available, 11,000 plus. And that has happened. This Friday, probably there will be announcement. So these are the things that PF failed. We are giving an example of the pronouncement our friends made, Pamurungushi. Did they fulfill them? No. Is the UPND fulfilling the promises? The answer is yes. The proof is here.
So under the team, we should also put that other promise of being sworn in at 12 hours.
Yes, the kwacha appreciated. Yes.
5 kwacha.
Not 5 kwacha. Now you are adding something. You are adding something. No. The pronouncement was, listen, the pronouncement was, even me, I'm on record.
But it did not appreciate overnight.
No, listen. What we are saying that
for you to get
no, my brother, you follow whatever happened.
Let's take it.
What happened was kwacha was at 22 kwacha to $1, isn't it?
Exactly.
Under PF. when the barley was sown in, we saw Kwacha appreciating, probably to 17, 18 somewhere there. Records are there, and meaning that whatever was pronounced, it came to reality. Even now, we are somewhere there, 16, 17, 16.
That the fertilizer will be at 250 kwacha per bag.
You know,
has that also come to fruition, or it's under the remaining 20%?
No, listen, yes, it's within 20%, but what I can say is that there is serious efforts being made out there by our leaders in government to make sure that including farming inputs are made affordable to our farmers, because we strongly believe in the agriculture sector. We know that there's job creation there in the agriculture sector. There's food security there in the agriculture sector. There's business there in the agriculture sector. And also we are trying to make people understand that agriculture is not only about maize or sorghum. It's about variety of activities, including kusunga mbuzi, ngombe, nkuku, na vina ngvasala. It's also under agriculture. So even other things that people are not seeing to be under agriculture, cassava, rice, and many others. So generally what we are saying is that we have serious leaders in government, and they are working on all these things to make it possible for people of Zambia to produce them without any difficulty. Also delivery of farming input. Of course, you're able to read newspapers. Tenders are being announced, supply fertilizer, because we are able to see that now, after this month, we have now reached the farming season. So we have intelligent leaders in these offices. So to me, what I can say is that opposition now, I don't know whether we have opposition or not. I'm sure we'll start having opposition probably after 2036.
Are you sure you're not feeling their weight?
No. What weight? Because you know, what is happening now, that the opposition, they are still living in the past.
Why do you say so, Mr. Band?
They are still living in the past because they still want to continue doing the dirty politics that Zambian people detested through the ballot. We are now in a new era of politics. It's about issues. It's about differing on opinions, not on hate, on tribe, on name calling, on negative propagandas, on whatever you think of. This type of politics were practiced by PF and others. But under new Dawn government, we've come to realize that we need to migrate from that type of politics to a new era of doing politics, civilized way of doing politics, where you do rub shoulders with the opposition, debate, differ on ideas, talk to the people, let the people trust you with your message and make a decision. Not where you say this person is a thief, this person is a bad person, this person is what? That is childish politics and outdated type of thinking. The environment now is to differ on ideas. So we encourage opposition. Otherwise, they will not match the new Dawn way of looking at politics. For example, because we are very realistic in whatever we are doing, and we have no hidden agenda in whatever we are doing. And we are able to explain anything that the government has embarked on with a free conscience. And people are able to see sense in that. So if opposition, if they exist or not, they want to match us, let them be realistic. Let them graduate from that type of thinking that they would continue in politics of character assassination, politics of hate. That politics was rejected through the ballot, and Zambian people now are interested to see leaders debate, explain ideas. On agriculture, what is it that you are going to do different? On education, what is that different going to do? On issues of business, what is that you're going to put on the table? Explain to the people. On these issues of unemployment, what measures have you put in place? People must explain. Not so, so. Are you solving a problem? No. So we don't have opposition as for now, because they have not yet realized that politics has changed. It must be on ideas. People of Zambia are looking for ideas and solutions. If it is to criticize us, let them criticize us with points. And the UPND, we are not scared of criticism. If somebody is telling us the right thing, the right idea, we will not be so stubborn and say, Chifuka, the idea is your opposition. No! We'll listen, we'll sit on the tape and say, Mana, this idea is making sense. We are adopting it because we have the interests of Zambian people who are bigger than political parties.
But the PF floated an idea that licensing of mines should be limited to young people and to Zambians rather, and not foreigners, so that foreigners are coming to the country.
But when did the PF realize that? Don't confuse me. When did the PF realize that important aspect?
But that's what they were talking about.
No. It's new Dawn government through our able president, Mr. Akande Ichilema, who has said that these licenses for medium and small and medium mining licenses must go to the Zambian people, especially the youths. And if the youths have no capacity, they should find somebody with capacity to partner with, instead of just being laborers. You partner because this resources belongs to us. It's a new Dawn idea. It's not PF. PF entrusted these mines in the hands of foreigners. And Zambian, and these foreigners were even importing laborers to start to work on work that can be done by Zambian people. You bring a foreigner. You bring a foreign. Receptionist, you bring a foreign. Surely. Something that Zambian people. You bring foreigners. These are the things that PF promoted. In fact, I feel so embarrassed to start talking about PF because PF is a bygone story. But there is no success without history. We are now in a new era of leadership where we are supporting and encouraging and promoting our own brand. You are a brand of this great country. You have potential to do things that a Chinese can do, even better. Or what maybe you are lacking probably is support. You're supposed to be supplemented. Simple. And this is what the new Dawn government is doing. It's identifying talents, identifying skills, identifying business minds, bringing them together, nurture them, support them, and make them grow and compete favorably with others.
Mr. Banda,
that is what we are working on.
As we go towards the end of our conversation, yes, I wouldn't let you without answering also this question. While you have been fighting aggressively at the fight against corruption as the UPND administration, your critics have been of the view that you are just targeting those who served in government previously. Is that how things are perceived on your lenses as well? And what are you doing to proactively lobby that the fight against corruption is equally fought against the officials serving in this current administration?
Belonging to a ruling party, it's not that you have immunity from being investigated or rather to be answerable before the law. So the perception is to the contrary. The fight against corruption is a genuine fight. It's a genuine crusade. Have members of our party who have been summoned before the SEC. Barely a few months in power. We have members who have been summoned. So, to me, the fight against corruption is not as vindictive as they are putting it. And moreover, if you are invited for an interview through SEC or DEC, to me, if you are innocent, that's a good thing. So that you can explain yourself, you can clear your name. Even you, when you are called to SEC, why getting worried? Why crying? If you know that you are clean and your records are pure. So the fight against corruption is genuine and it's not witch hunt. And I'm encouraging that the process can be expedited so that people can get cleared. And even suspects, others who are potentially supposed to be investigated, they must be investigated. So that if they are free or clean before the law, yes, they'll be free.
Are you also of the view that former President Edgar Lungu should be stripped of his immunity because he dared law enforcement wings during his previous utterances?
You know, Mr. Lungu is a careless leader because of his utterances. Now I realize the reason why they never exposed him to press briefings and to questions from the journalists. One, he doesn't know how to reason when he's answering questions, or rather addressing the media. So to me, as a provincial youth chairman, if the links are showing that this man is involved, that man also must be made available before the law. Being the president and you enjoy the mean does not mean that you can involve yourself into criminality. And you think, no, nikachokapo because of immunity, people will not investigate me. That is a wrong notion. Being in State House is being a public worker, not to abuse public resources, not to abuse the authority. So if there are strong indication and suspicion that this man who occupied the State House has these issues, has committed this and that against the Zambian people, immunity is nothing, because the country is bigger than the former president. That is just the employment that Zambian people gave to him, Mr. Rungu. We employed him to be the president, and he's not bigger than us. We Zambians, we are bigger than any person who occupies public office. So if we see it fit that this man, in his tenure of office, there was abuse, there was rooting and plunder in his name and in his way of doing things, I think immunity is nothing. Better that person answers to the people of Zambia through the laid down or through the instituted institutions, such as the course of law.
Mr. Banda.
So if at all Mr. Rungu had issues or has issues of corruption and plunder of national resources, I support the idea that the immunity be lifted so that he can be cleared by the law. And it has happened to other presidents who were there before. We saw Arabi's immunity being lifted. We saw Chiluba. Yes. So no one is above the people of Zambia. The Zambian people are bigger than the individuals who occupy State House. So immunity should not be bigger than the Zambian people. To me, that is the comment that I can make on the issues of Mr. Rungu. My concluding remarks is that we are on track as the ruling party. We are answering to the needs of the people, and we are fulfilling all our major promises, including job creation. Sanity has already been brought. My message is, let's trust the process, and we are yet to see great achievement together. Let's support Bali and his team. Let's support President Church, because he means well. He means well for Zambia. He has no personal agenda. All what he has is the people of Zambia at heart. So we need to support him with all what it takes. Thank you very much for inviting me, and I'm requesting officially to be inviting on another platform, because we need to explain to the people. We don't need to be shy to tell the people what we are working on, and also to get the feedback. I would want to have a calling in program, so that the views of the people, I can get them right here and take them to relevant institutions, ministries and leadership in power. Bantu bagamba so ku area yaso muganza ku branch nanga vaso vachidwa branch, because we UPND, our leaders are very open and they have nothing to hide. Even to criticize them on genuine issues, they listen and respect you. So generally, the way things are happening, we are on course, and Zambians will be able to see for themselves, as that video was being played when I was coming, where people were saying, nanga ubari enzekuti sure vamente teze kumissing sure vishtika very easy. Akamba, no, you are employed as a teacher, then before the end of this year you'll be put on payroll. People were recruited under PF and they were not put on payroll for years, and there are thousands. That was calling people. And it's not happening under UPND, because we have honest and truthful leaders in these offices. Thank you very much.
There you have it. Invitations will be following you as usual as our guests at Camnet Television. Anderson Banda, the UPND chairman for Lusaka province, has been my guest. And his perspective is that let us trust the process. And always remember, we ask the question and you make the verdict. Until next time when we come with another interesting episode of The People's Verdict, this has been Patrick Soko. Stay tuned.